ESL Pro League finals are underway. We're going over to the Group B. Natu is here with me after their 2-0 loss against Titan. Well, let's first talk about the match itself, 2-0, but you really came close to winning Inferno. So what do you think happened on the first map?
Yeah, I think we had it. I think we were up like 14-8 or something like that, and then we were supposed to go all in banana, and we only went half in banana. Sort of a mistake we've had before, and then got picked apart one by one and lost that round. And then we kept getting a lot of entry kills, got a lot of good trades, and then it was just like a lot of small mistakes in the situations where you're just not supposed to take those mistakes, or well, never supposed to, but they happen sometimes. It just kept happening, and then we took it to overtime. You know, we had a feel of what to do. Only managed one round on T side. Felt like our CT has been very strong on Inferno. Teams don't get a lot of rounds on it usually. Well, Inferno's really CT sided as well, but still, like, we've been playing really good on CT, so we were confident we could take it. I can't remember exactly what happened, but yeah, screwed it up. Put it that way.
All right, what about Nuke? What can you tell us about that? What do you think went wrong in that match? I know it's really one-sided, but you know, even on Ts you got on CTs you got quite a lot of rounds to work with. So what happened?
Thing is, like, if you don't win either of the pistol rounds, then you're going to be, especially on Nuke, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So I think 8 rounds without either pistol is actually not that bad, but you know, it's not enough. T side, again, a lot of close rounds. Just couldn't capitalize on the situations, and I don't know, maybe it's just the fact that we didn't get to practice this week because I was working in Bucharest, so we sort of just went to play with the, just feeling like, all right, just play with the flow. Didn't manage to do it well enough, and CT, yeah, we lost the pistol. Then we won the first buy, the fourth buy we did. Sort of got really nice 3 kills, I think, in the end, and then we figured just, all right, let's grind it out. But then the thing is, when you're down, what, 15-4, whatever it was, you know, you're not leaving yourself a lot of room to work with, and a couple of mishaps happen. Bit of bad luck always when you're losing rounds on CT and Nuke as well, and that was it.
All right, well, let's talk about the update a little bit. How do you think it affected? I know it's only been 10 days and you haven't gotten to play that much on the version, but how do you think it affected your team specifically?
Like I said, we haven't really played as a team much this week at all, but I mean, what I tried, and the thing I felt could work, especially when you have like close range battles, we tried it as well here. We bought on the 3rd round without getting a bomb plant, and a lot of us bought UMPs and stuff like that, and it actually got really close. I think we may have even won that round. I'm not sure, but it got really close on the 3rd round. So I think that's actually like, that's adding a bit of depth in it, right, I guess. And I think Freiburg made a good statement about it, where it works like an antidote against Tech 9s, when you can move around and maneuver a lot when you're playing with the SMGs. So far, I'm not that bummed out. I actually, you know, having played a lot of Quake back in the day, it's a lot of fun where you can just run around and shoot people, and it actually works. So I think it'll take a bit more time before we really see how does it affect the game, and is it actually going to be beneficial, or is it going to be more fun, or is it just going to make it worse?
What about your oppers? Obviously, the op received probably the biggest nerf of everything at least in the last update. So how do your ops feel after that update?
I think we are a bit less on the double op than we were before, especially there are certain angles and certain positions that are a lot less effective than before, and I guess a bit less on the T side sometimes, you know, because peeking with the zoom in is going to be that much slower. So it's not affected that much really. It's just about the players getting used to it more than anything, I think. And you know, like I said, I think I tweeted about this too. Like the best are going to adjust to the situation and live with it, and just come up with alternative ways of utilizing it. And but not super much so far.
And well, last of the weapons, you already talked about the SMGs, but you haven't really touched on the Tech 9, which did receive an update and a nerf, but it probably wasn't as big of as big of a nerf as people would have expected. So what do you think about that?
Well, I think, like I pointed it out, I think the SMG buff sort of countered the Tech 9 a bit. So far, I think actually Tech 9s, even they didn't really do a lot with it, just removing bullets pretty much. It feels like in use anyway. Again, I think it needs a bit more time to really see, but maybe this could work with the SMG buff versus Tech 9s.
You didn't get to play Overpass, at least not the new one. So, but still, the A bomb site got changed. Obviously, what can you tell us about that? How do you think the A bomb site is going to play out from now on?
That's a very rough question to answer. Really, like we haven't had a lot of time to really play the new version of A site. I think a lot of teams still opt to play pretty aggressive on the CT, and because you can plan so early when you're entering the bomb site, so it hasn't really changed, I think, the dynamics that much. You see a lot of teams still playing very aggressive on long and pushing toilets and so forth. So, I mean, it makes the site at the moment, when you actually do get in there, it makes it easier for the Ts than before. You have more space and like more covers and more, yeah, basically more space to work with. And
how does that translate? And how is that
pretty hard for me to say, but that's the feel I get anyway.
I know I'm asking hard questions here because it's only been 10 days, but this is going to be the last one, I promise. The train, well, train is basically gonna come into the map pool instead of nuke, at least in the coming weeks, months, depending on how tournament organizers will catch up. But what do you think about removing nuke, because it's been one of your maps that you like to play, and about the new train, basically?
Well, new train, I haven't played a single. I think I played like a matchmaking match on it, but that was even the previous version. Right. But I do like the addition of the 5 train and moving the bomb train. So like just by looking at it and trying out how motion things work, it seems alright. I mean, could play pretty well. But again, it'll need a lot of play test with these two teams playing each other to really see how it works out. I think still probably going to be pretty C-decided from just the vibe I get. But yeah, nuke. Well, yeah, it's sad. It's been one of my favorite maps for the past 15 years, and I'm not really sure if we need to have. I mean, it could be a bit more like easier for the Ts, obviously, but I'm not really sure if we really need 7 or 8 maps that are totally going to be 8-7s or anything. You know, because there's a lot of. I think it's pretty cool actually when you're playing nuke, and some teams really do invent with these cool things, and they come up with ways to use the map and just how they play and how their communication works and how they do those small details right, and then actually do rack up rounds on the T side. I don't think it's always going to be. Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing if certain maps are CT heavy. So yeah, I'm a bit sad.
Last question. How do you feel in general about Valve's Valve's attitude towards updating the map pool? We've seen Overpass and Cobble come into the map pool. It's stayed there for at least a few months now. It's actually been almost a year from now. So what do you feel like about Valve actually trying to get new maps into the map pool, to like change things up a little bit? Because back in 1.6 or even in the beginning of CSGO, we only had basically 5 maps to play, and now it's been expanded to 7. So what's your take on this?
Well, I'm actually, it's a good thing we have 7 maps in the pool. I think it's cool, and just, you know, that means more work for the teams. But one thing I would really like to see is something, especially when it comes to having maps for all this competitive Counter-Strike. We should have like a playtest thing going on for Valve, where you have, I don't know, a certain amount of teams who playtest these maps and use some time in them. It's going to be pretty hard considering how, like, you know, how much Counter-Strike is going on in the tournaments and everything. But some sort of a way to interact better with the competitive CS teams, so we can like play these maps after they're tuned for competitive play, not instead of being like, you know, seeing all those crazy boosts we did see on Overpass, for example, in DreamHack, and these type of things. Like really like grind those maps out and try how they play out, so to make it as viable and as much fun to play and watch as possible. So I think that's probably something we should just generally have more communication, I think.
Last question. how do you feel about the upcoming match, tomorrow's match? What do you feel like how it's gonna play out?
I'm not even. Did they already play the other match in our group?
It's Copenhagen Wolves, right? Yeah, you're gonna be up against Copenhagen Wolves.
Okay. Well, we had a rough time against them in Copenhagen. We beat them pretty easy on Nuke, but then right into overpass and then just I got demolished there and ran out of gas. It's long days in Copenhagen. Let me tell you that. When you're playing Copenhagen games, it takes a lot of energy. So I mean, if we just come in with fresh mind and keep our composure going, just limit the mistakes. That's our thing. I think every one of us has a lot of skill to play this game. Just a matter of like making those small details to go in our way, and I think we have a very good chance on beating them. But at the same time, if we do screw up on things, they will run with it, obviously. But just gotta feel confident.
All right, that's pretty much it. Thanks for the interview. Do you have anything last to add? Any shout-outs?
Not really. Thanks to if we have fans, I think we have a few fans, maybe at least in Finland. So yeah, thanks for all the support.
So that was our third interview from ESL Pro League Finals. We're still planning on taking one of the other teams that are still in the tournament, or at least today, which is Envy and Titan. So make sure to check out hltv.org for those.